Hey craft fairies, thank you for joining me. So this is from the Spring Garden collection. Who cares if it's summertime? We are about to work with these beautiful fragrant hyacinth from Heartfelt Creations. So I have the mold here, not necessary, but the stamp and die is necessary. And I'll give you a quick look at the paper because I did a haul on this a few months ago and I've already cut out some of it, but this is just to kind of give you an idea of the color palette. So let's go ahead and get started. So you're going to need to obviously stamp and cut out some florals. So here's the stamp. You're going to get a large hyacinth, which we're not going to use on this video. We are going to use a smaller one, and then here's all of your hyacinths. So that cuts out 5 at a time. And these are the dies to go with it. So I have stamped some onto some purple. So I've taken the stamp and I stamped the small florals onto some light purple cardstock with the color Wilted Violet from Tim Holtz. And also for this I've used some leafy green from Archival Ink, stamped that onto green cardstock, and then also stamped this again, the smaller one, onto some purple cardstock, cut that out and use the same Wilted Violet. So now let's go ahead and get these colored. So I'm just going to get some ink. I'm going to ink the edges of this floral. And I've already inked the edges of the leaf. So then you take these and you can ink these up as well. Okay, simple. So to shape these, you will need to just have your shaping tool, and you can just kind of just rub it around on each petal. And you can give it a little push in the center. Now if you have the Heartfelt Creations, the groove tool, which is pretty much like this, you can just fold it back. If you want to give it a more realistic look, you could do that. If you don't have the groove tool, you could also do this with some tweezers. These tweezers I got are bent and out of shape and they do not work right, but you would just put them there and just fold them back. I'm going to use this end. So this end is kind of working. So you just fold it back. And yeah, so you don't have to have this. You could definitely use tweezers. And that's just if you just wanted to give it more of that little realistic look. So yep, and then just again poke it in the center. If you have the mold, it's gonna come out similar, as you can see. Okay, so there we go. So it doesn't matter if you have the mold or if you don't. So of course we have to, you don't have to, but I'm definitely am going to add some jewels to the center of this. So all I'm going to do is take my jewel of choice. You know me, I use my jewels, my fairy dust, whatever it is that my heart desires. And where are my tweezers? Right here, my other tweezers. Okay, so I'm just taking a little jewel here and I'm just going to place it in the center. Now you could use stamens, whatever works for you. Pretty, right? So we got that. So that's it. So you do that to all of your florals. So if you shall decide to use the mold, let me show you how to do it. So you just take it out, you get your florals, you place them in the cavity, lay them face down, face up, whichever is your preference. I do them face down, and just spray a little bit of water. I have just a little water bottle here. Just spray a little bit. It's just to loosen up the fibers because there is going to be a lot of pressure provided when you run this through your machine. And that's it. They come out so they come out dimensional. All right, so we are now going to go ahead and get this floral put together. So I have some florals here. I have, I believe, like 12 of them. You could use as much or as little as you like. Depends on how full you want your flower. So I'm just using some hot glue, and I'm just gonna get these on. And I do want them bunched together. So I'm just gonna kind of like push them close into each other. Lift some of the petals if you have to. But yeah. All right, so for this one, I've had 12 cut out, but I used 11. So, you know, it depends on where you put them, how close you put them together, how it works for you. So cute. So obviously if you do the larger one will use a lot more florals. And here's the size. It's a 2 by 3.5 for the small one, and then the large one is a 2 by 5. So that will definitely be a perfect size for a 5 by 7 card. So there we go. Please stand by for fairy dust. So it's my favorite time of the video, which is fairy dust, and I have some glitter here, and you know the routine. So I have a little sponge here, cheap little sponge from the Dollar Tree that I just broke into little pieces, and I just kind of get some glue on here. And I'm just gonna gently, because my petals, you know, I want to protect my petals, I'm just gonna gently go over the petals, not all of them, but a few of them, and I'm just going to get some glue and glitter on top of those petals so that we can have some sparkle. You could use a paintbrush, whatever works for you. So yeah, that is pretty much all you need to do to make this beautiful, cute little floral. This is so pretty. So the hyacinths that you saw at the beginning of the video are from my local grocery store, and I think it was in May when I actually took a video of that. So yeah, but who cares? Summer, spring florals are all the time in my world. All right, so fairy dust is done. Let's go ahead and start creating our card. So for today's card, we will be making a shadow box. So yeah, this is my version of a shadow box that I created. And what I have here is just a standard piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock that I'm going to cut down to 7 1/4, 7 1/4 by 5 1/4. So 7 1/4 by 5 1/4. Okay, so that's what I have here. And you actually are going to need 2 of those. All right, so we're going to take the first piece and we're going to score at 6 3/4. We're going to give it a nice score. And then we're also going to score at 5 1/2. 6 1/4 and 5 1/2. Okay. All right, so we're going to take this and we're going to move this to the side. So then we're going to take the second piece and we're going to score the same. So what we're going to do is cut out an aperture. So you need a ruler, a cutting knife, and I have a white pencil here. So you want to take it where you scored it, and you want to have your scoring side to the right and the non-scored side to the left. Can you see that? So this is where I did the scoring, and this side there's no scoring. So from this side, which is the 7 1/4 side, you want to come in at 1/2 inch. So hold your ruler and you want to come in at 1/2 inch. Okay, and you want to come down at 1/2 inch. So let's start on the shorter side. So let's take our ruler. This is along the 5 1/4 side, and we're gonna go at 1/2 inch. So we know that this is our 1/2 inch mark right here. Okay, so just make a little mark that you can see, and then I'm going to turn this way, and I'm going to mark here at 1/2 inch. So this just kind of gives me to know where I'm going to cut, because we want to leave a frame around it. Okay, so I just have a little mark there, and then also at the 1/2 inch, where you have your ruler 1/2 inch, you want to go ahead and go at 5 inches. So I'm gonna go like right here and make a little mark. Okay, so 1/2 inch and 5 inches. That's what we're gonna do. Okay, so then now we're gonna come down, and where we made that 1/2 inch mark, not on the outer side but the inner, because we want this frame. So you're going to put your ruler, start at the beginning by the mark, and you're going to come all the way down to I'm making it light, but I don't want it too dark. Okay, so you're going to come down to 4 1/4. Okay, so come down to 4 1/4, and you stop. Okay, and then you're going to take that other side where we made that other mark, start at the beginning of your ruler, and you're also going to draw a line down to 4 1/4. Okay, and then now what you do is just connect. You see how you have your two lines? So hold your ruler so that it's straight. Hope mine's is straight. And come over to where you made your line. Okay, there we go. And just connect. If you're good with cutting apertures, or if you have a die, you could use a die. If you have like a square die, then use that. But I'm just showing if you don't have a die. Okay, but if you have a die, use the die. I have a die, but I wanted to show you just in case you don't have one. All right, so there we go. So you see that? There we go. So you see that, how we made a square in the center of that? Can you see that? I mean, I know the line is a little light, but I didn't want it to be too dark. So we're not done yet. So now we need to take our cutting knife, and we need to cut this aperture out. Okay, so we just use your ruler as a guide and cut that out. So if you see, be careful, okay, because we need this piece, so you don't want to rip this piece. This is our frame, we need that. So then just turn it around and just go around that full aperture square that you made. And if you miss, just go back. See that? There we go. So I'm just gonna finish it, okay? I hope you didn't find that too difficult. Please, that is never my intentions, to make something difficult. Stuck a little bit on that one. Let me go back. Go back. Cut on that line. Hold your ruler steady, okay? Okay. There we go. So you could always go back and shape it if you need it. And then I'm gonna come around here, and yeah. So like I said, if you have a die, a circle, a square, whatever it is, die that you have to cut a window, cut it. That depends on how big you want your scene to be. Okay. So let me go back and just so I still have a little piece here that is just not how I want it. I'm like cutting my ruler. It's a rubber ruler that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm like cutting it. All right, so there's a piece, and all right, so that's annoying. So I may take my scissors and just finish that. There we go. All right, perfect. So I promise you, you could save this piece. The hard part is over. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. So if you did that, hooray! All right, so let's take our 2 pieces here. So you want to, we have our score lines, so go ahead and fold your score lines. There's only 2. Okay, see that? And then we have here our score line, and then we have here our score line. Okay, so then now what we have is this. We are now connecting a box, making a little shadow box. You see that? Does that make sense? That's what we did. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead. I have an inner panel here, and this is, let's see, I have a piece of card here. This is from the collection, the paper collection. This is a 6x6. I need to cut it down to fit inside my box. So let me get my trimmer. And let's see, this is, remember we folded it now, so this is no longer 7 1/4 because we folded it. So now we need a piece of layer. All right, so I've trimmed down my card to, this is a 5 1/4 by a little like 5 2/8. Okay, so I'm going to take that and I'm just going to glue that to the back of the card. Okay, so I'm going to get some glue for that, or tape. I guess I'll use my tape. And then we're just going to get that on here. All right, so we have that there. And then this is so cute. All right, so we have our window here. So then now what we're going to do is, actually I'm going to kind of lift this a little bit. I actually want to put this down first. So you see here where we scored. Let me go ahead and get some adhesive. On this part, and then we're going to lay this. Let me take this off. Well, I don't want to take it off, it's going to rip. But we're going to take this piece, you see it with the window. We're going to take the piece that we put the glue, and we're going to line it up. Line up this score line here, piece, see that? To the edge of this. Super simple. And it's probably best to do that before you, now when you put your layer, it'll be better to add your layer. There we go. All right, so we got that in. Okay, so then now what I'm going to do is, you can decorate first and then close this and glue this together, or whatever you want. So I'm just gonna go ahead and decorate first before I do that. So what I have is, I have, you know, we created the florals. I have 2 here. I had one that I had already created, so I'm just gonna get that down. So I'm gonna glue some hot, use some hot glue, and I'm just going to put some hot glue on the back of my florals. And if I can get it out. So I'm just using, so you can use regular glue, And I'm just going to kind of use this as a guide, and I'm just going to lay my florals in. Like I said, if you want to put this together first and then decorate, that's totally up to you. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. Just getting some adhesive on the back of this and getting this in. So pretty. Look at those beautiful hyacinths. Aren't they pretty? So then I also have a I'm gonna go ahead and close this, and you could use tape. So I'm just gonna use some tape like I did for the first piece, and I'm just putting a few layers because this is some textured cardstock. So then you just bring this over and just close it. So just bring it over and close it. So just press down and close it like that. So you see that? So then now we have this beautiful box. It's so cute. So then now what I have is of my own stash. I have a little fence here, and I'm just going to glue this fence right onto that. So I'm going to put that down with some glue, and I'm just going to put some on just the ends only. Right there. So you get creative, use what you want to put in your shadow box. So I got that down, and then I have this beautiful butterfly that I cut out of some matte foil cardstock here. I'm going to put that in the center with a little bit of hot glue. I'm going to put that like right there. Pretty. All right, so then I also have, where is it? Here I have this is from the paper pad as well, and you can write on these or stamp whatever you want, and I cut that out, and I'm gonna actually put that right there, and I'm trying to figure out what I want to stamp or write or say. So yeah, let me get that. Okay, so to finish this off, I'm just going to get some glue here, and I'm actually gonna put glue on this area. And the reason why I did this because this is a little longer, like wider than this actual. So what I did is just stamped it with my own stamp that says happy birthday, added 2 of the little jewels that match the inner stamen areas of the plants of the hyacinths, and then now I'm just going to add a few little extra hyacinths that I have to, like, I'll add one there, and then, you know, one here. And then I'll take another one and add that one as well. Well, now I'll just add that like right there. There we go. So there we go. What do you think? And then the good thing about this is that I know we use dimensional florals, so this is super dimensional. But if you use like flat embellishments and you make this flat, it'll go. So if you don't, I mean, just go like this and it falls flat. Okay, so you can still do it like this and put it in a 5x7 box envelope. Just be careful though, because these hyacinths are very dimensional. But this gives you an idea. You don't have to make this shadow box just for hyacinths. You could make it for whatever it is. You can make this shadow box for whatever you want, not just the hyacinths. You know, I'm just showing you how to do it. So yeah, so if you use flat embellishments, it'll fold flat that way or that way. So let's move on to the next project. I have this beautiful little bag. It's a cute little bag here that I got from Hobby Lobby. You can get these bags from Michael's, from the Dollar Tree, from the grocery stores, wherever they sell little gift bags. So this is a tiny one, a small one. This bag without the handles is about, let's see, it's about 4 inches without the handle by 5.5 or 5.25. So what I've done is I've taken some cardstock here, and this is 4 by 5.25. So I just cut it down. I wrote the measurements so I wouldn't forget to tell you. And I'm just going to place that like on the front of this bag. Like seriously, we're just decorating a cute little bag. So then I cut this out of the paper pad from the kit. You know, the from the paper pad. What am I trying to say? Excuse me. I cut this out from the Hyacinth paper pad. So that's what I did. And then now I'm just gonna ink the edges a little bit, just a little, not too much, not too defined, with the same wilted violet that I used for the florals. Okay, so I just cut this down to size, and I'm going to get this on as another layer. I'm just going to, oh, and I wrote the measurements on this one too. This one is this is a little smaller than the yellow one, so this is 4 3/4 by 4 7/8. So this is just so that you have that beautiful outline. Cute, right? So then what I did now is I created another floral. How pretty is this? And this one is a pretty yellow color. I did the same thing. I actually stamped it onto some white cardstock with yellow, and then I used some green cardstock and just glued it like I did that purple one. And I just used yellow florals with some little green jewels in the center, and of course the fairy dust is there. So all I'm going to do now is just get this glued on with some hot glue in the center, just like that. And I also have a butterfly of my own that I'm going to just put some hot glue on and get that like right there. And our second project is complete. How easy was that? How cute is that? You can make your own bag, but yeah, I just found it easier to do this. I've done this in videos before. So yeah, so this is it. This is my beautiful hyacinth, spring hyacinth from Heartfelt Creations. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you like this. Let me know with a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Goodbye.